Okay. Are we back up? Woohoo! All right. I don't know. Blue screened out. Really super weird. There's one thing I have to check real fast. What is... I got a chip there. Where is it? 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 What is the lighting control app for your machine? Because it shows you all of the chip temperatures. I thought I saw something that was a chip overheating thing, and I'm trying to find out my core temps. Q, that's what it is. Isn't it CUE? Is it Corsair Q? Yeah, IQ, that's it. I just need to see my chip temperature. And of course. It says it's 75. That's getting up there, but that's not a warning. I don't know about that. All right, well, let's just hope that my machine doesn't burn out and die. Let's see if we saved in there somewhere. Well, it sure as hell not going fast. Okay. So annoying. Dropbox. Okay, there are a few others in here. Download. Okay, so, and we are back. Sorry, just had to make sure everything is there and running. Yeah, we were on the Wyvern. It's sort of where's Event Viewer? I don't know anything about that. I can't see prompt my way out of a paper bag. You know that, Jefferson. Okay, so it was Annie-Rox. Is Annie-Rox still here? Hey, Angelo. Well, we were basically done with it, I thought. I was asking if there were any questions, but did Annie-Rox make it back in? Yeah, I think we should, because I don't know what that's about. I mean, it's warm. It's 72, but that shouldn't be so warm that it's killing it or anything. All right. Okay, well, hopefully Annie-Rox comes back in. I think we were pushing the end of that one. If she does come back in, we will get back to her. Hey, there you are, Raytheon. Is Gokhan Ergen in here? We have Iruladir. Sorry if I mangle everyone's names. Yeah, no, my machine blue screened, and then it's like, no, you don't get to reboot until I look at this, and then it got into a reboot loop, and I don't even know. I'm so... Come on, you. There we go. Yeah, I suck at that game. Me and computers have a love-hate relationship. It loves to hate me. All right. Okay, so we download it. Where is it? Download. We have this. Does that do anything? All right, so we have me head and me head blackout too. Oh, cancel. Loaded up a ZPR first, I see. Who was this from? It just says Mimi. Oh, Alejandro. Was that no. Okay. So we have this head. Edit, Control N. Okay, so handful of things to remember in just the basic shape of heads, okay? So from the side, you kind of have to pay attention to what it looks like. Who is this? Mimi. Are you here? Are you here? Are you here? Not yet. Well, they just posted this, so I'm assuming that they'll be back soon enough. And since we sort of know that they're here, we'll... I know, right? Okay. Well, we'll just start. So the things you have to think about when you're doing heads is they weren't sawing until I spoke, and now they start to saw. All right. As you can see, your nose is poking pretty far out from where the brow is. And normally, hold on, let's turn on our drawing application. Live draw. Boom, boom. So normally you have your head, and then the brow comes down into the nose, and then it's usually a straight line to the jaw and then up. So you can see that you're a little low, and if this is supposed to be a baby head, then yes, there are different proportions for baby heads. Babies have big hydrocephalic heads. And so if you're intentionally trying for a baby head, then this could be a little bit more on the right side. But I still think that this line should kind of be back in here a little more. And drawing in, and that raises your ear just a touch. And that gives your eyes room to rise. And so that changes that. But so if you're trying to do a baby or a young child, this is much closer to the perspective. Or an anime girl. They have big heads too. But I want you to think about block up more at this point. What do we have? Let's get some geometry in this bad boy. Okay. So you have to remember that, this is a skull. So what's happening with our areas and what's going on? So you have this. That provides for this area here. Also gives you this area here. It looks like you just did a big push in for the nose. And honestly, this brow probably is a little flatter. Gotta turn that down some. And then it comes back more. Cuts in. Smooth, stronger. Smooth, minimum connection 1. Okay. I don't know why they don't let me set that as a default, but so just remember, very rarely is your brow going to be, like, you can have a dent between your brow bones, but very rarely are the eyes and the whole thing going to sink in like you had it. So just remember, you have sort of this setup. You have your eyes. That's the nose, right? This is the cheek, or that bone right there. And then your teeth are here. Right, because they come on like that. So your lips are not going to scoop in that much, because this is a mouth mound. And so it tends to be something that sort of looks like this. Then you have your chin. You have these two muscle masses. You have your cheek. And that sort of does that. That's a bone. And then your jawbone. So you need to sort of get everyone in place before you start going at it. And I would argue that this is probably a little bit more like that. But again, if it is a baby, they can have this total short upturned pug nose. But even in that case, this still does this. It's still a line here. Right? So now that you kind of have your masses set up, so the next thing is you have meat. You have your brow meat, which sort of does that. But let's just make this a straight plane for right now. That's your next plane. This comes down and around. And that becomes the meat that fills the lower plane. And your nostril will sit back. This comes up and down here. Your mouth mound is there. Your cheeks are there. Okay. Now see, those cheeks are really, really proud at the moment. But, like I said, if you're trying to make it a baby, babies can have super pudgy cheeks. So I'm just going to take it back just a little because I don't know if we're supposed to be a baby or not. Can you all still hear me? Are we still up and going? Okay. Lower res a little. Let's get this smoothed out. Is this smooth stronger yet? Yeah, it is. Okay. Okay. Now you have pretty big eyes going on here, right? Okay. So let's take your eye size. Now you see your eyes are a little in a slightly weird place, but let's just kind of mark them in here. Okay. So I'm just gonna make our ball first. So since that's bone, right? If we're looking at that peak is bone, which means the meat comes in here, which fills up the socket, right? So that becomes the bag under your eye and the lower lid. And then that's your upper lid. And it's coming down. God, it's like construction week all of a sudden. Now people are hammering. I don't even know. So you can have the big pudgy cheeks, but they need to start where that cheekbone is. Hey, Gabriel. Okay, good. It's like, I don't know. We have like super not chatty room all I don't. Everybody else gets their people to chat. I don't know why we have such low participation. I don't know if I'm just boring or something. It used to be much more exciting. Okay. But you can see how your eyes are still real forward here. Under normal circumstances, I'd really try to push them back and in more. And that starts to give you the cheek pudge. Because your eyes aren't like right up on top of the surface. I mean, once again, if it's sort of anime stylization, it can get there for sure. But, you know, just something to think about. And then let's use your eyeballs. Where are they? Eyeballs are a little far apart. And we can move this out some. Let Z project. Let's bring this up. We will take this. Mm-hmm. Create the socket. Mm-hmm. And then that becomes your eye sac. Project. And then that gives you a surface. Mm-hmm. Right, you just sort of get your stuff in place and then align it. So this is normally you want there to be like a flat line here, and I tend to get some weight and then take smooth and just kind of push it up and under. And then that way you're getting that ridge shape. You can put on transparency, put on Z project, hold down Alt, and that'll bring all this back up again. So you always have your eyeball surface there. Oops. You want to be careful with projection. I wasn't paying attention because we had symmetry on. So I mangled that other side, but oops. Like that, and then this is sort of a flat ridge going back, so you can take it. It needs to be farther back than that. Tuck it in and stuff. But the real thing I wanted you to think about here is the planes and where the bone structure is underneath it, right? You know, your mouth. Whoa, way too much. But you can sort of see where these planes sit a little bit better and in relation to one another. Right. As opposed to here where, see how this is all sucked in and flat? You have to move the whole face back and in more. You can't just cave all this in because that it's just not how the... Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, Jaeger, go ahead and upload without a doubt. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. So, yeah, hopefully that makes some sense. I wasn't, necessarily trying to give you a finished shot here, but just trying to get your levels and places a little more. And once again, babies carry their fat lower, it all depends on what you're actually trying to accomplish. But, you really want the eyes to sit back. And this isn't flat. This comes, and this is what creates the trap in the eye. So, and your underbag there. So don't collapse this area. This area is not behind the eyeball, right? This is creating this, and that's what gives you your little pokey thing there. This transition here, this comes up under that. This muscle kind of is a triangle coming off the side of the nose here and sort of under that bag, and then your nostrils sit on top of that. So don't just groove out there, right? See how you just scoop this out here? And that's just, faces don't do that. So hopefully that helps some. Too much point on that nose. Righto. All right. So Jaeger, hopefully you're uploading a file. So let's go to these GoCon. Okay, so we have a bear. Cute little guy. What are these? What's going on here? Oh, we have paint on, that's why. Okay. So let's look at our bear. subdivision. So I would say, first of all, let's look at our torso here. Armpits don't necessarily work in dents, so we're just going to try to get that out. Let's I know, I could have just done the lasso. I know. So let's look at our armpit. So this is where basically your torso is starting. So you just want to make sure, you know, this is sort of your rib cage, and I know it's a teddy bear, but you want your weight sort of to feel like it's coming from there and settling. Right, so in the front, that's where we start from. And that gives you sort of that belly weight. And then the belly weight wants to start from under the pecs there. Then you have your pecs. Now that'll be coming from there. I don't think he gets scapula and stuff, but no, it's there. And that, the triangle that goes into there. All right. And your buttocks and your shank. Fat front legs. Okay, so that tunes that torso up a little. So here again, let's look at our arm. And think of teddy bears, right? That's your insertion where your arm would go. Okay, so we cleaned that up a little. It makes it look like the arms are sort of attached to where they would be attached. That's a little... Outside has become so noisy. Crazy. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then sort of give them half domes back here, because animal ears are just like human ears in the sense of you have the outer lip, but then the scoop comes back into, you know, like a reverse horn shape, so it's gathering sound. Comes round. Idiosyncratic head bump. Browse. And then cheeks. Alright, and you got your chin and your jowls. Okay. So keeping it simple. I think that kind of cleans him up a little. Get your weights right. Make your torso feel like it has weight to it. Like even this bump. Sorry. Z intensity. Let's go down to like even this bump. I would tend to say, you know, that you really want this to feel almost like it's coming from there, you know, and it has weight, right? And I think that'll give that a better feel. Right? Just go around to the different angles and check it out and see what those angles look like, and that's helpful. And then you come back in and put your lines in and your division, you know, your division things and all of that. So like on here, like on this one, right? If I wanted this, like I use eyeballs as references, like balls, I do this as well. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this, and then I'm going to use transparency, and then I'm going to use project, Z project, and then that way I'm going to just do this, and like if it's just eyeballs, I'm not going to bother joining it. I'm going to just project it up to the surface. And you can also do this as history. Merge these two. Merge down. And we're going to save that as our history state. And then we come here. I didn't think that would work. You have to have it on the same thing. So you go to history, and then you can turn this off. And then that way when you come in here and use your history brush to bring the eyeball in, you can kind of you know, you have a lot of leeway with how you know, if you want the eyes to droop, you can just come in and sort of work it until you get the eye shape you want. Right? That's a droopy eye. These are just cute little button eyes, right? Now, history you can't use with symmetry, but you kind of get it as such. Smooth it, and then go to like clay tubes or your sculpting brush. You can turn symmetry back on here, and then there you can get, you know, your little upper brow. And get sort of that. And then you can also come back in and get that sort of where you wanted it. Right, so in a case like this, I wouldn't join those eyes. I would just use it as a projection stage or a history stage. And then you just start developing your surface rhythm. You know, what's happening with the surfaces. Right? Well, I'll tell you. I tend to like doing it this way, where I use my clay tubes at a very soft surface. Here, I'll just turn it up so you can see it. And then I like to, with my clay tubes at a high resolution, I like to come in and I just do back and forth. Now, if I'm trying to make something sort of feel more mechanical, I use no back and forth and see how it just does one directional lines there. So like if I'm really trying to set up my texture rhythms, you can see that this is sort of laying it in one line at a time. And like I said, this is a little stronger than I would ever use this for, but I'm doing this so you can see and so I'm laying in with my hash marks sort of the layers which things are happening, right? And then what this does is this gives me directionality and flow lines. So I then can come in and really dedicate, time and energy into what's going on with, different areas and, what's the surface flow. Even if this weren't like to have hair, if this is going to be a completely, like if this was just a person's face, I would still do this because I'm setting up planes of reflection. And it lets me make some pretty good decisions about, reflectivity, what's going to happen. Because you have to remember, I do everything for manufacturing. So I'm not trying to get a render. I'm trying to get an object out. So, like I have to put all my textures and stuff on them. I can't just paint textures onto a UV and then just kind of paint the detail on. It actually has to be there, or it won't show up in the prints. And so I do it as a low the Z project and history I haven't used as much. No, they're great. The nice thing about it is like I use, and now the morph is awesome. So let's say I'm going to go here. I'm going to hold down control and mark this as my history state, right? And so now I'm going to say, okay, I want this to be a real distinct hair pattern. So I'm going to kick this up and I'm going to come in and kind of do something like this. And then that way I'm sort of getting these big loose hairs and okay, so and what's cool is I can then come back in and go, okay, so I really want this to be a nice defined edge. So I click on my morph brush and I can come in and do something like this. And the reason I like the morph brush is I can use symmetry. You see how it's doing it on both sides in symmetry. And morph is a morph. It's not a projection tool. So I can turn it this way and do this. And do you see how it's doing it here? Where if we go to the history brush and I come in, see one, it says can't be used with symmetry mode. So you can't do that. And then two, hey, old man. Actually, I got headphones. That was the first step, is to get headphones here. And then I think we have it set up. I just haven't. It's been crazy. The last few weeks I've been getting off work late. So I get off work around 3:30. But if I get off work at like 4:15, then I race here and then I'm trying to get everything ready to go on. So hitting the 5 o'clock time has been a little tough over the last couple of weeks, so I haven't been super prepared to get it in and going. So, but that will be coming soon, I promise, because we have people in here who know what to do. We just have to set up the chat room in Discord, and then get the Discord up so people can join in, But that's something I really, really want to do soon, because that promotes interactivity as well, And the other nice thing about morphing is if you turn it down, you can just sort of creep up on the morph. It's not, you can make it a nice smooth transition as opposed to, making it 100 and then it's just like a straight line and you're going right back to the old surface, which could be exactly what you want. You know, so that's sort of some of the beauty of Morph and and um, and history. Like if you're using the same model, because the thing about Morph is that it has to have the same um, geometry, right? So you can't morph from one subtool to another unless it's a mirror of like I could duplicate this, work on it, and then morph it from a different subtool. But unlike history, where you can just grab it, you can grab any model, doesn't matter what the geometry is, doesn't matter if it's Dynamesh or whatever, you can put that under, make that a history state and go back to the history state. So that's the difference between Morph and history. But Morph is fabulous because you can use symmetry, which is a big deal for me. I like that. Here's the other thing that is super great about Morph history tools, right? So let's say, you know, you're super happy with your hair around your sort of panda bear's eyes, right? Okay, yeah. We were super happy with that. Woo, 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 look at us go. And then you're like, oh, but I want him to have like these weird cyberpunk underglasses or something. So you come in and you block it in. And then, oh, I turned no back and forth on. You know, you kind of get this going and you want it to be kind of coming out onto the eyeball. And so you can kind of rough it in and get it where you want it. All right. Smooth it out. Oh, I didn't. Did I change the history state? I might have. I hope I did, so you can understand. Okay, so now we got this in, and we're there. We like what's going on with it, but you know, the intersection's soft, but we needed it to be soft because we were trying to get the rough area, and you know, we got everything going. So now you grab your morph brush, you come out here, and then you just go right back down to where that, see, I didn't save the morph with this hair, but you'll get the idea. Well, here, what we can do. And so you do this, you're like, well, damn, I didn't save the morph in the right place. Well, just undo this. Just come back until your, okay, so that's pretty good. Here, let's go back just a little more. Okay, boom. So we really like this hair state. So now I change my morph target, or my history state. Then I do, and so you're like, oh, well, now you have to resculpt all that. No, I'm doing this on the timeline. I'm not touching anything else. So now when I come back up here, did I touch it? Yeah. So now we come back up here and see how this went all the way back down to that other part. Well, watch. Now we're going to take morph. We have a new history state. And look, so now we're applying it to where that new history state is. And we're doing the same thing of defining the edge of that. You know, if you wanted it circle, where's Lazy Nizumi? Lazy Nizumi. Oh, there's a new version. Okay. We'll do without that for right now. File, attach the window. Boop. Okay. Hide you. And, you know, we want these to be circles. Hold on, let's turn this off and let's kind of get this to here. Boom. Bring this in. Match our circle. And then just come in. And this way you can do sort of hard surface modeling as well, where it's matching your sharp edges. And then we can go here. Nope. Well. Here. And now that can be a straight line. Make that a straight line. Like that. Right, so that way you can come up with something that's nice, sharp, and hard. And, you know, now let's say you want to put more detail on this. You just make this your new history state. And you can come in and do, okay, well, I like that. And then I kind of want it to poke up here. And that's going to be a new layer or something. And then I'm going to put a little circle dot there. And here again, just go back to morph. And when you kind of get it sorted out, you can come back in. Morph back to that area. And see, now we're morphing with the glasses where they were. In the same situation, move your morph target to here, and now you want to draw on this one. And you then grab your morph brush, boop, and you can do that. Right, so you have a lot of control in doing that. And then let's say, no, I really don't like that. I like the earlier cheek. Come back to where the earlier cheek was. Oh. Yeah. You can do it. You know that I use history all the time. All the time. There it is. So now you actually like the smooth under cheek. So we're going to come make that our history state. Come back to where we were sculpting. Yeah, shoulders aren't supposed to make that noise, I don't think. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, yeah. All right, Lewis. We're going to download your thing. Download. And so now we're back to here. We know that we had the smooth cheek. Select morph. What's going on? was that a different? It might have been smoothing, so I lowered it. I lowered the subdivision. Let's look. Like, to see how it wasn't working. If it doesn't work, this is often the issue. Let's see if we can do this without blowing everything up again. Oh yeah, see how this is at 236. So I lowered my resolution. So 2365. So if we come back up to here, because remember I lowered my subdivision level because I was smoothing everything out. So it wasn't working because the morph oh yeah, that's you. We're showing something else. I walked through this one so you can look at it. I haven't done the person yet, so you're just on time. We're talking, okay, so see I'm at 9, but if I lower my subdivision level, lower res, so now I'm at 2364, and so now I can use the morph brush and use symmetry, turn X on, boom, and see now, see how it's working, but it wasn't working because they were different subdivision levels, and it won't do it unless it's the exact mesh. But you can see here, we've now smoothed that out, because that's what we liked, because we want more resolution, or more division between the two. Boom, boom, smooth, and then boom, 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 boom. Does that make sense? Yeah, super, super powerful. Let's come back here before we started doing all the weird stuff. And I will show, Ratatouille, the bear face, as we were going on. So basically what we did, sorry, like I said, we were demonstrating layers and stuff, so come on, you can do it. We were talking about stroking here and just how to, but you can see I started to do that with face, and then you can also see I knocked this down under the underarms, gave the belly some weight, and sort of made it a little bit more anatomically correct, even though it's big and, so if you watch the video from earlier, you'll see how we got to here. And then we're here. Turn transparency off. Did you do the close from another program? Are these from, what is it, Magnificent Designer? Oh. What's the next one? Mimi? Oh, the one I just downloaded? Okay. Yes. Then you are coming up. Okay. So it sort of looks like the clothing is from Marvelous Designer, because it has pretty good ruffles and stuff, but it's also all shell, or it's all a single wall. It's not shelled. So Marvelous is a great place to start. I don't know what that's looking like, a vein. Or are we supposed to be seeing the vein through the clothes, or is that wrinkles? The veins are a little odd. And you can sculpt on this as a, as a skin. Things. Okay, so here's the issue, I think. It feels just a little stiff, and it feels a little convoluted and complicated. Like, I don't think that these little wrinkles are necessarily working. I think it's a little too much for what you have going. I mean, like subtle things like that, but some of these big ones I think are just a little too much and a little out of character, because this is quilted. I'm assuming this is quilted. And if it's quilted, it's not going to be... You might get stretching here on the small stuff, but you're probably not going to get big wrinkles like this. Just because the quilting would prevent that. And I'm guessing it's quilted because of the depth in the thing. So you can run into wrinkles in the quilting that are basically, where the padding is breaking up or being bent. But it's going to read a little bit more like that than it is these surface wrinkles, right? These wrinkles just imply that the fabric's just too thin. And I think it would be something a little bit more like... where they become larger groups that the wrinkle's going through, if that makes sense. That's too much. Too much. If that makes any sense. Shouldn't be mirroring, but and then if that's quilted, this would be quilted as well, or because it seems like sort of a padded vest for combat, so this would probably be quilted. That's cotton, fine. That's probably twill, fine. I just think that I think you can simplify this stuff. Unless you're doing video game assets where it's like really, really important that the fabric be exacting, then I would simplify this dramatically. Like if you're using Marvelous, make it where it's thicker material, because what all these wrinkles imply that this is super thin material. And this is probably rough twill, which wouldn't wrinkle this much. It would be bigger, stiffer wrinkles. So I would say in your Marvelous, thicken the material so it's not quite so bubbly. And then heels. Oops. Heels don't really get wonky that way. It's a pretty even distribution here. puffier there. Ankle. There's an ankle in there. And then there's an ankle there. And Achilles tendon. So that's roughly going to be your boot shape as well, right? Because it can't cut into any of that. Right? So if you just think of your shoe construction, so that's usually what your shoe pattern is going to be, something in that vein. So just think about that for a minute too. You know, often you'll have that, but, you know, just as a general breakdown. Okie dokie, let's look at the helmet and the phase. Face is perfectly nice. Once again, I'd give more thickness to the helmet and stuff. You know, it might be realistic, but it just for sculpture, it just reads way too thin and insubstantial. It feels like the shoulders might be a little thick this way, like from here to here. You might need to bring the armpit up a little. That's like that. And you might need to just bring this down a touch. Because it looks a little too thick there to there. I mean, he's 5 head links to his crotch. And he's closer to 9 head lengths tall. I think maybe his head just got small. No. You gained extra length in his lower legs, and you gained extra length here. That's where you're picking up the extra height. In those 2 areas. His head's a little small, his chest is a little big, his lower legs are a little long. Yeah. Where are you? Give me the line. I have one, two, three, 4, 5, 6. I wish it would go from the center point. So this why are you doing that to me? 1, 2, 3. Why do I have a big gap there? That makes no sense. Look at that. Why is that gap there? Oh, it's, see that gap? What the hell's that about? Okay, that's really annoying. Anywhere I start, there's a huge gap. Okay, so that's head height 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Interesting. Yeah. Slightly odd. Yeah, I still think like from here to here is just too big. Or too big this way. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. See how much longer your lower leg is than your upper leg? So either this is too short or this is too long. Just a few proportion issues. It might be as simple as that gives you the length back in your lower leg. Yeah, I think here we go. Because now the hand rests mid-thigh. And I think that might be the issue right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and a little. So you're still a little long in the torso, but that puts things at a little bit more realistic proportions there. By knocking all that down, you tried to make the torso bigger so it looks strong, but you increase the length of the torso trying to make the torso bigger. Yeah. Let's append star to circle. A lot of the will it stand straight comes down to just looking at the balance of the part. So we'll take this one here in a second. One sec. Okay, so that's roughly one head, one. Transparency. Yeah, so, yeah, he's about 7.5 head lengths. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3.5, yeah, so 3.5. Should be 3 3/4. And your drop is right at 4. So you can see my groin height, your groin height. Because he's not a true 8. 7.5. Boom. And then that does the same. 1, 2, 3, and a bit. Boom. Boom. Right. Because if this is 3/4 of that, right? That's half of that. That's 3/4 of that. So half to that would turn that into 3/4. So that's 3 3/4 and 3 3/4. So yeah, it's your torso creeped. Right. So yeah, raised his groin up. That gave the upper leg the right length to match the lower leg, and that compresses this up and down. That's there. So basically your torso just became too big. Right. And that changes where the waist is and all of that. So the elbow hits the waist. And then that's that. So elbow to the waist. Hand to the thigh. Yeah. So basically your torso got too big and long. There you go. I knew something was driving me nuts there. Okay, so now. Oh, how do you know your model will stand? So the easiest way to do it is, so this is leaning a little forward. So all you have to think about is drawing a line through the torso, right? So usually right between the head and the ear. And usually you want the ear to line up with the ankle. So skew and see where the ankle is over here compared to where the ear is. If you take this and just drag it back to where, and I'll often just go here, get my ankle, and then you can sort of line it up. And that is standing much more straight now. Now, you got to look and see, okay, his back weighs a lot. You know, look all the way through and see where things are in your half and half. But his hands are in front of the body. You just have to sort of calculate, you know, where it's at. If you want to be really tricky, you want to make really sure, you duplicate it. And again, kind of find that center line. And duplicate it. Take a knife. Take your knife. And separate them. Oops. Sorry. We need to go to our knife again. Hold down Control Shift, hit the space bar, do polygroup split to parts. Take your knife, come to that point where you're sort of at the ankle and the ear, boom. And now split that and split that. Hold on, we want to hide him. We're going here. There we go. We've split the two parts. And you can do check mesh integrity, close holes, check mesh integrity, good. Boom, split masked. And now you can do a analyze selective mesh tool, boom. So that volume is 3787, okay. And then this is going to be less volume. 33. So your backside has a little bit less volume, but if you'll notice, the weight is higher. So you could feasibly lean him back just even a little bit more. And then you can tune it by moving the hands forward. But that's a pretty good test of like volume comparison. Just split it in half and see what's front and back. And that'll give you an idea of your balance. But basically you want the ankle running through the ear and have them roughly the same volume. And that's going to get you close. Does that answer that one? Does that help there? Jesus. This person has 63,000 people watching him. That's madness. Okay. Downloads. Did I not download that? I thought I already downloaded it. Hold on. Let me refresh. There we go. Oh. STL and an OBJ. Hello. Are these huge files? You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Oh, nice. We're waiting for it not to. It's probably saving. This is really lovely. This is a good frame. It's a good image. Come on. What are you doing? Come on, ZBrush. Sometimes it just decides to be squirrely, doesn't it? So this is an image you didn't create, but you're trying to emulate? Or did you create it? Okay, so let us... Well, once again, it really comes down to center of balance. And, you know, it's just... it's not hit or... Well, I mean, it's hit or miss. But you really start to get the hang of it. You start to see... Just look through, like, the center of the feet, right? And see what's supporting it, what's not, how it's sitting. We can go over some poses in a minute. All right. So now, do you... Oh, this is ZTL, so no, you don't have it. Let us go to Document. Let us import this image. Draw. Stop it. Draw. Front, back. Map 1. Oh. Turn floor on. Draw. Map 1. Import. Boop. Where's the floor? How big is this? Hold on, everybody calm down. Let us get, it's going to do this to us. So we go to scale, where are you? Scale master. Give me my 1 unit helper. Yes. Okay, everybody calm down. Okay. So we got our cube here. Sliders, the subtool size, that's, we want that to be 1. Resize subtool, Set scene scale, okay, we're there, 1 millimeter. All right, so that should correct all that nonsense. So now we come here. Yes, I am that horrible prick. Should be there. Okay. Yeah, as I thought. It looks like you're crowding this area in here. I know, don't hate me. I'm bad about this. So if we look at the face, it's presenting a little bit more towards us. It's a little bit more distorted. And like the distance between the nose and the cheek, right, the shape of the cheek, you're damn close. The eyes tend to be pointing down a little. This third hair isn't as large. And this wing is down too far in the sense of, see here how you get this beautiful, you know, we have this directionality, right? Boom. And then we have this going this way, boom. She's looking here. And we have this kind of coming in, right? And you have this really lovely like area right here where you're getting this Z. And once again, it's another shape just pushing this forward, right? And that's returning. So I think that you're losing a little bit of that forward push where this got jammed up on itself. You've compressed everybody a little in the torso here. I think that, let's look at it from the front again. Come on. There you go. Like when I start doing these things where I'm trying to match an image, I get really weird about matching the image. Get it as close as possible, and then correct where it's perspective issues. All right, so let us, how many groups is this broken up into? Let us, oh man. Okay. Let's take this in parts. Nope. I want you. O ye of the 100,000 curved lines. Okay. So let's look at our B first. Control W. Actually, let's undo that. And let's just split hidden. So here again, I just think that you got a little crunched up here. So being able to why are you doing that to me? There we go. Oop. Did you have two of these in here? I split hidden. She's still there. Okay, hold on. Split hidden. Interesting. You might have two of these sitting on top of one another. No, somehow I must have copied it because it's the same color scheme, which means if that was there before the auto grouping, that would have grouped as a separate group. So somehow I duplicated it. Did I duplicate you? Nope, I don't know what I did. Weirdo. Okay, so let's get back to here. Yep. 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 Just getting a little bit more room in there. So you get this airspace in between the arms and the body. I think that opens that up a lot. And the other thing you notice is that this wing is coming in and going into this negative space here. So again, let's try to get come on. Okay. There we go. W. Try to get that up off the body. And that opens up this negative space in here. And you can see the wing is back up here. But that allows you to have that become a much more dynamic open space. And, you know, once again, just viewing position, you want to make sure that that's sort of down and out of the way. See how it's just like a little poke right there between the head? So you want to make sure that you're kind of in that area and then rotate that down so you don't see it. I'm viewing this sort of as a figurine. So there is a front view way. Well, that's really what this little window appears about. Get this large and, you know, kind of rotate it around and see how your negative space works, right? There's a way to get this bigger, but so I use this window a lot so you can see what your negative space looks like. And that also helps with picking a view, like which is the most dynamic negative space and what's the closest to the image that you're using. You can take a snapshot of the negative space or of this, and then just lay it over your the image you're trying to emulate or to copy, and because I don't think I have those pictures on this one. Well, once again, exactly. So I think that, so here we go. Let's get to the person, right? Here, let's just get this posed as well as we can real fast. We'll start with the sucky mouth. Put you there. We're going to rotate you up. And is rotating as doing as any. Okay, that's getting close. Okay. So, oh no, damn. Oh. Bump. And bump. So let's take that first. So just looking at where the torso is, you've crammed up this area in here, right? So let's just kind of get that where that is, and then that'll all right, so we then need arm kind of be there. Let's get that there. Boom, get you there, get you. Now I'm not being careful. There are dents and stuff. My things are not going to be smooth. But let's get that down. And where is move topological? Let's get that wing. Sorry, I'm angling your wing. All right, so you are pretty much pretty close. Right? And now let's let's bring this. Move elastic. See, there's that open space there. So sort of some of that cramping was just your wing was very thick. Okay, so that's roughly front position. Let's bring her in or him in, whatever he is. W. Bring it up, rotate it around. We are going to go from the armpit. Okay, armpit, rotate to there. Okay. Okay. So that is splitting the difference between the legs, the arm, and the face. Okay, so now move elastic. So that legs there. Move topological. Shorts. Come up here. No, not leg. Shorts. No, not leg. Shorts. There we go. Bump. This knee comes up here. Ankle comes. Come on. Ankle. Come on. Not you. Ankle. Come on. Stop it. Give me the leg. Leg. Oh, for God's sake. Where's move? Okay. All right. Pants are down there. I still think that leg's further out that way. Okay, and now the head. here is tucked up under more. And then the cape. All right. So if we look at the reposition, let's turn our floor off. So she's definitely sitting off in that direction. So how can we move her towards us? Turn the ground on again. Yeah, so we moved her this way. So now she lines up, or I don't know if it's a she or he. For some reason I have her as a she. And now you can see that you can fiddle futz with those with the shoes to make them land on the body a little bit more, right? And that now becomes very, very, very close to the reference image. Right? Because you missed like the cape being lower here. I think this could be I think if we rotate this towards the camera, see, so that could easily be positioned to be like pressing on the back of the head or something. Can feasibly even, sadly, the you know, matching that angle, you could cheat just a little bit and just drop that back and in. Bring that arm up a little and get it in there. You could fit that arm in there easily. And then again, taking this leg and make sure it's straight back from the camera. You could rotate that leg back and get it on the torso. See what I mean? So that foot could now sit in there. And sorry, I moved the sock and all that, but look at the leg. Yeah, so I think that's going to get you there. And see, now we have this negative space clean. This negative space is here and nice. You're returning up a little. This is a little wonky, but you know. So I would go back and just really tune it to the view. And that's going to give you your positioning. Yeah, no, it's really nice. You're welcome. Ratty. Okay. Are you Oliver? Whoa. Okay. Okay, so why you're having problems posing is you have no subdivision levels. Okay, so I'm going to do something really fast. Hold on, let's put all these in a folder. Okay. So the first thing to learn, and I tell people this all the time, and it's tough because people get used to using Dynameshes and then they get used to, like, you know, breaking their things up and doing X, Y, and Z and blah, blah, blah. It's all good. But you need to keep your subdivision levels. You need to at least keep one model that has your subdivision levels, and I'll show you why. Now I'm going to do this quick, so it might not be perfect, but I think you'll get the idea because you can do it from the very beginning, and it allows you to control your model dramatically better. So is the hair separate parts? Yeah, okay. I'm going to unify mesh this real quick. Now, as we go along, we're going to lose this hair stuff here. Hold on. I'm just going to split masked points. Okay. This is going to be easier. Duplicate. Bring it down here. I'm going to low poly Dynamesh this. We're going to save this as history, even though we do have another one. If you have another one, you don't have to save it as history. I just tend to find it easier when you're doing it on the one thing. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm just going to do a low poly Dynamesh. Whoa, that's a really low poly Dynamesh. I don't know. Okay, let's try that again, Dynamesh. What is going on? Is this just super tiny? That's a little tiny, but... Okay. Maybe when we reoriented the scale, it freaked this guy out. Okay, it's fine. Here, we'll just remesh it from here. Sure. But to show you this, I need the lower subdivision levels, so I'm just going to subdivide it. So, good. Save your subdivision levels. They're very important. All right. You can do it. Come on. Chug through it. Boom. All right. There we go. Now we're going to go turn on symmetry. And we are going to turn off adaptive. We're going to turn on half. Z remesh to half. I'm going to do it one more time. Okay. So we have a super low poly model here, right? Now, I'm going to divide this up. I'm going to do my first project history. And now, well, that's interesting. Why is that doing that? Where are you projecting to? Let's just inflate this a little. I don't know why it's being weird. The scales are weird because I had to reset up the scale. So it's screwed with the internal scaling of this piece as well. Here, let's do this. Let's delete this folder. Alright, and so now we're going to slide our subtool. We're going to make this 70. Reset subtools. Okay. That should treat us a little better. Project history. Do, 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 do. I have a history state. Project history. You can do it. Is that all we got? Okay. Let's do this. Oh, my history state is, okay, we have to make this one the history state. Because that history state was when it was still small, so that's why it was just sucking up right here, because that was as big as it was. Alright, let's try that again. There we go. Like, why is it just going around his groin? I don't understand. Now I do. Okay, and you notice I'll smooth it out just a little bit again, because I don't want weird coplanar surfaces. So I just run smooth over it one more time. And why we're doing this is because we're going to do this at a higher res. And we're going to divide again, divide again, divide again. Let's lower res, project history. All right, so there you go. So you spent all this time and energy and you have all your details, right? So how I would pose them now is, no, this is fine. Because I have, what is it, 7 subdivision levels here. So we have all of your subtle sculpting, right? So you spent a bunch of time subtly sculpting, and hold on, I'm going to let's just pick I know that this isn't correct, but it'll give us more texture, because I want you to see this where I know this is not your texture, but I want texture to be kind of on everything, just to give you an idea here. So you spent all this time doing this texture. You're like, Tomas, I've done all this texture, look. And that would be, wow, that's a lot of texture. You didn't know you had a wood wolf. Okay. Look how much time you put all this texture on this high resolution model. Right? So now you want to pose them. You're like, oh my God, I have all this texture. Did I screw myself? No, you did not. Okay. So the beautiful thing about this is you go all the way back down, boom, to your lowest texture. I know that doing the proxy model does this exact same thing. I tend to like doing it myself at this proxy level, because I actually usually start with a model that's in that I have these calculations which show me where my subdivisions will line up if I quadrillate them out. So I know where to stop if I want, after 9 subdivisions, to wind up at 90 million or 70 million or 60 million. So I have a list of numbers. I can't remember what they are. I think it's like 721 is usually where I try to start, and that's 710 to 721 range. And that gives me 9 subdivision levels up into the 80 millions, up to 100 million. Just trying to cruise in that 100 million 10 poly cut or poly division cut. So now you're here, right? And so it's really good because the new anchor tools are awesome, and you can do a lot of just this kind of stuff. Get it, do it, move it. But and I'm a big fan of the new anchor tools, but every once in a while I get them where they start torquing things around and it's odd. And still, it's super simple. Just boom, boom. Just the key to the posing is trying to keep your squares roughly the same size. That's really what it's all about. So X, we're going to take this arm, rotate it, and you can see how it's torquing, right? Well, this is where these are super nice. If you use the anchor tool and put it there, it sort of distorts it. It helps angle it. You can see how you can twist it, or you can do the whole thing where it'll bend. And I tend to like move rotate because it lets you here, let's go from center here to here, and it sort of lets you kind of tug it back out and get it into place, and then you come here and you can you can kind of stop it. You go here, and then you can come here and get it back to the right length and kind of pose it, and then hit here and here, and then you can knock it back down. So It's a good way of doing it for sure. But end of the day, you know, just your Y. Here, let's turn on move. Let's go to Y. W, Y. You know, this still is just a fabulous tool. Put it on rotate, and you can rotate, and you're getting sort of that squish and squish. You can see it's distorting, but at this level, it's super easy to come back in, and I'm just going to try to correct my shapes by just kind of tugging it down. Let's go to move. Kind of tugging it down, sorting it out. You can smooth it and then cut it back in. Right, and smooth it and then kind of drag it back out. Get it where you want. Sort of smooth it and recalibrate it. Because the smoothing is undistorting the squares, right? And that's real important as we go back up in the thing. Okay, so we're kind of getting that. Now let's go W, and we want to twist it out. R. Oh, I'm like, why is it doing that? Kind of twist it out. You can see where your distortion is. W, just kind of grab it, put it back in, and then take move elastic, grab it, just pull it back out to where it's sort of in line to where it was. Hit smooth, and you can get these things up and out. Grab move, and here again, you're just sort of pushing it all back to kind of where it was. I did jam that arm in there a little tight, but you can see I'm just trying to correct where that stuff is. So now here, so I've moved this, so we'll take move elastic, we'll kind of mask that off, we'll cut this back and in, so we're giving that elbow room, we're now moving it. You know, you can come in and twist it around, W, and that's going to, you know, get him to where he's like that. And, you know, you can just sit there and but anytime you get any weird things, the beauty of this is that, oh, well, I did, okay. You can't do that when you mask half the head. That's bad. Dash bad. Very bad. Dash bad. Here is a good place for these anchors. Twist. I want to twist from here. Nope. I want to twist from here to here. And that'll let you twist. Oh, how? I keep unmasking that. How does that happen? All right. Get a little twist and then get a little rotate, so we'll move him back, and we're just, he got hit in the side, so he's all ouchy. Right, but anytime there's something weird, all we're gonna do is we're gonna come in and smooth it, right? And now I'm gonna take move and just kind of grab it and pull it back up in here. So you can see I'm doing some very big distortions, right? We're twisting it around. And like I said, all you have to do is smooth stuff out again. And you're kind of resetting where that is. And now we'll just kind of build it back up to where that shoulder is bigger. That's bigger. So we twisted him around. We've given him a twist to the torso. Move that arm here. Let's... So we're just going to go W. Boom. We we've squished all that together, right? So now what do? We're going to take, we're going to just smooth that out. Smooth that out. Grab move and drag this sort of back. Move. Drag that sort of back into shape. Kind of tuck that back in a little. Right, so we've done, here, let's change his head position. Okay, so once again, just kind of getting him roughly where he should be. And here again, Q, and then we're just going to smooth that back out. Okay, so we've changed them pretty dramatically. I mean, I can go through and change more, but I think this will give you a good idea. And now, well, hold on, let's move this elbow back out. Right, so we repositioned him. Haven't been super careful, obviously. But now, watch when we come all the way back up. See how much memory it has of that surface and where everything is? Now, obviously, if you were being more careful than I was, I mean, just look at the posing here, right? Where we just smoothed that out and moved it around. The neck looks good. And you didn't lose any of your hair texture there, right? So I got a little weird with that one arm. But the beauty of that is this is, let's lower res, lower res, lower res, lower res, lower res to here. And you can start to see where things are. Again, you just come in and just kind of get it back into sort of where it was. You want to get that in there. Tuck that back up. Let's pull this out a little. And you can see I didn't spend a ton of time there working on that. But how warped it was just a second ago. Come all the way back up. And you can see how you can definitely get there, get a pose in, change it dramatically, and still retain all of your surface textures. So that's how I would do it. I tend to start with super, super low polys or Z-remesh and reproject it so you have a super, super low poly. I tend to like it even half this size. Like I said, I like to start in that 700 range because then you can literally just take the block, you know, where as you're down here, you know, if this is just one bar, it's easy to take this, you know, if this is 4 blocks, take that, and, you know, just do that, move it, and then you literally can take, move or slide, and you can slide these back down, you know, so it's roughly the same position, and then you just softly smooth that, I would turn smooth down some. This is smooth strong at full, so it's real aggressive, but you can lower your smooth intensity and you won't have it be that absurdly aggressive. And now come up a couple. And now you can start to see where things are forming, right? So you can sit here and work with it here as well. And you can see I smooth that out some, but we go all the way back up. And your hair detail's still there, right? So I think that's one of the best ways of posing, if that makes any sense. Wow, no one said anything for like 20 minutes. Does that make sense? Yeah, in practice with the, like, if you get good with the anchors, they're so cool. But I have been really busy. I haven't really had time to tune my anchor usage. When they work, they're fabulous. I really dig them. Alrighty. So now we have... Is it a duffel bag with teeth? No, of course. That's why we're here, right? Okay, Alcade Daruga. Are you here? You uploaded something. It's like an active duffel bag. Is it you? Alright, so insight. Is it a duffel bag with teeth? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go back to the idea of making sure you're sculpting on your surfaces, right? So your shape's good, your form's good, the wrinkles are good. I might have this come off the surface just a touch. Make sure that this is in the surface just a touch. Where move topological. You know, where you can get you can accent the curve some by doing something like that, maybe, you know, just so that has a little bit of motion to it. I don't know if you're going off an illustration or something so it doesn't have that, but that tends to help the curve in some ways. Or get it really flat, and that's fine too. But I would just tend to not just leave it like it's a brush. You know, make sure it does something that isn't just like a brush. Because if it's just a brush, people look at it and go, oh, it's just a brush. Come on. I don't want that. I want this. There we go. Okay. So play with that a touch. Yeah, topological brush. Move topological allows you just to grab one geometry group. Right, because so like here, I can grab the teeth, I can grab the tongue, I can grab that, I can grab the buckle. So that lets you fiddle futz with it a little more specifically. Right? And then whoa. All right, you get it. Okay, so now let's get to this. The teeth are good. Don't quite know how you did them, but think about this. First of all, is that a separate tool? Oh, fascinating. Okay. That's interesting. Is there a reason you made it a separate tool? Because this is pretty low. This is pretty low res, so I probably would have just sculpted this in one part. Unless there's a reason you want to do this. And actually, I'll show you a reason why you want to do this. Okay, so let's... Is this back? Okay. So, my question is... Flip. Okay, no, so there is nothing there. Okay, good. Boom. Split hidden. Come back to you. And so now, since this is a duffel bag, we want there to be an end. And then, let's say lips, which are the edge of the zipper. Okay. And I think there are some simple stitch brushes in here. Hold on. Oh, right above you. Stitches. Is that a welt? I think that's the one we want. And I'm just gonna do a quickie. That's not a very good stitch. Obviously, you should use something that's better suited for this, but it's getting my point across, and that is, if you want it like a nice, clean, solid edge, I can understand doing that as a separate tool, because you know you can come in here, and now once that's there, you really can just clean this up. You can kind of come in and redefine this edge, so it's exactly where you want it. It's sharp. It does what you want it to do. And then you can come back in here. When I'm working with models, I don't particularly like working with flat planes because they become something you can't join together easily. Sure, I feel you. This is just such a... Here, I'll show you. Boom. Z project. Transparency. I definitely try to keep, but once again, I'm going for printing. So I have to join all these models at the end of this game. And the more separate parts you have, it becomes kind of a nightmare. You know, hey, Juan, how's it going? So I tend to try to keep things as one model, one part, only because it becomes much easier. I do multiple parts, obviously, but something like this that is this simple, it wouldn't even occur. I mean, like, you know, maybe the strap, but I mean, it wouldn't even have occurred to me to do this in separate parts. So I just have a poly group there. And so now, do this, mask, flip, and see now I can go W. I'm just going to touch a surface there. Let's get it sort of going straight back. I'm going to drag it down. I'm just going to make it a little larger. So now I have an undercut where it's sitting. And this mesh is a little messy at this point. One sec. We're going to duplicate it. I'm just going to dynamesh it together. resolutions at 2. And divide. I would remesh this normally, but once again, this is such a simple shape that I'm not going to stress about it. Okay, get in there, bad boy. Okay, so now we have the detail you had in your last model, right? It's dynameshed, it's one part. So I'm now going to come here, and now I'm just going to come, and this is why in a lot of ways it would never have occurred to do this as separate tools, because then it doesn't allow me to do things like this where I know that the thing that is there, I'm going to tap 1, and now let's do it here. One. We'll do our little stops. We'll do 1 stop. Okay, so now the bag's sort of clean, and you can see that I've stretched that up, so it has a nice clean edge. I mean, I'm obviously not being super careful here, but I think hopefully I'm getting the point across. So now I'm smoothing this down. And you have them crisscrossing, so I'm going to come in, and I'm going to just take my brush, and I'm going to paint these up. And then have it drop back. And then we're going to, actually, you know what? Let's do it with this first. I want to get these points up and off the surface, so we're going to go. Okay, so now we've determined our high points and our crossovers. Lower my res. Let's just smooth this out a touch. And we're just gonna that's going to be an up, that's going to be a back. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Keep hitting that little button. Okay, so you can see we've really punched those tips up. And then where the transition is, you just make sure one's going behind the other. All right, so Kind of getting everyone's surfaces flat. Alright, so now we have it there and there. I'm going to use slash because I do want separation between these. This is one of the rare occurrences. You will see me use a drawing tool, but we're going to use the twist as well. But I need to separate those transitions pretty clearly to begin with. Great, now people are shooting outside. All right, so we now have that. SK twist. Oops. Oh, people are uploading. Okay. Oh, hold on. We need more resolution there. And then twist that way. And twist this way. And twist this way. Twist that way. Twist this way. Twist that way. Twist this way. Twist that way. Twist that way. Twist. And twist. Okay. So now we've twisted those edges up. Use clay fill. Hold down Alt so the clay fill's negative down here. Make sure clay fill's positive there. Negative there. Positive there. Negative. Positive. Negative. Positive. Negative. Positive. Negative. Positive. Negative. Positive. Negative. Positive. Negative. Negative. Positive. Negative. All right. So now we established those. Come back in with clay tubes and just tune up your edges. Stop hitting the button. I got club finger today. And then you can always take snake hook and have, that might be infinite X maybe. And you can snake hook the points to where they're sharper. Clay tubes. So now roughly everybody's where they want to be. Lower subdivision levels. Smooth it out. Come back up. And then I would do one final pass, which is going to clean your shapes up. And then from there really dictate with SK trim and get them to be the exact shape you want them. You know, tune them up. And I'm obviously being sloppy. And that's why you use clay tubes to put those edges up, because it's going to knock them down. So if they're high, see, it gives it room to knock it down and still stay. And like I said, you can take slide, and if you really want these to be sharp, you just come back in and tap the edges, and really you can tune the exact shapes at this point because you have your overs and unders, right? And then, you know, if you want these to be prouder, you can always take Alt and kind of drag them up. Hold on, move elastic and Alt, and it'll kind of pull the tips up. If you want more separation, right? You know, if you want them to be more like that. And then go back in and shape them. So, you know, here you're deciding your height and your teeth and blah, blah, blah. And you have all of this, so you have your edge here where it's going under. And with them being on the same plane or in the same model, one, if you're printing this becomes very easy to join together. And then two, also, they have continuity in surface. So, you know, that is now fitting under that, right? And you can use twist if you really want it to be under more, like it's really fitting under there. Right? Oh, did I kill all the paint? Must have. So that's yours. Now here, hold on, let's go back. That's your surface. And you can see where you got there. Now this is it all in one place. You can see there's more depth to it. You have a lot more control over how you're getting your tips and stuff. Yeah, so I think that's probably how I would go about it. SK trim polish brings it up. You hold down Alt, you can keep those edges sharp. Take slide, punch those in, push that out. Right. Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah, of course. I'm going to download these from Harsh, and then I think that'll be it. Jesus, it's 9/11. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Oh, super fun. Very, very nice. Those are nice and bright stones. Where did you get those? That's a nice round. Nice. The Mobius twist, hammered Mobius twist, super cool. How to sculpt a pyramid looking skin, and then okay, hold on, let me Discord. Shoot. I'm requesting access. All right. Did you send me the email? Juan, you have to approve me. I don't know if you saw that. Okay. So how do you sculpt? So, pyramids, honestly, I would probably do something along these lines. I would take, now that one's pretty easy because there's very few pyramids, but a way to brush it on, like if you're trying to do it. Otherwise, here, let's just go to this. W, get a polysphere. Divide. Lay in your grid. Use orb cracks is good. Let's turn this off for a second. Let's do Z intensity lower. Let me see what our thing is here. Okay. So orb cracks, big brush. You can do something like that, and then do it this way. That'll give you a foundation that you can then come back into. I would make my circle smaller or whatever, but that's a way to get kind of there, right? You know, you can, oh, sorry. And then you can see I'm just putting my circle over the other edge. And now switch that up. Boom, boom, boom. Now this is on a round, so it's pulling as we go over those edges. And you can see that's a place to start. But what I would probably do, let's go to cone. Now that's a 3-sided pyramid. We want a 4-sided pyramid, don't we? All right, there we go. Make them the height you want them. Go there. Do your first row, get it to where you want it to be. Bump, 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 bump. Bump, 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 bump. And now, bump, 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 bump. So now you have a field of pyramids. I would then go duplicate. Come here, go flat plane. Make your flat plane the same. And divide, 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 divide. And you can either matchmaker it. Did that match? No. You can project it. Let's just project it. That's probably easier. And now the reason we're doing this is because Extractor doesn't like separate things. So now we're going to turn that off. So now we have a single plane that has your pyramids on it. Go here, tap, hold down Control, and tap that as history, and then tap it again so there is no history state. or tap it there, so that is your history state. You can go to extractor, which is over here. You get your brush. You want the focal shift to be where you want your draw size. So let's get that bigger, and I can change this down. I want the draw size to be, that's fine. Push D or G. I'm starting at the one crease line, and then I'm going until I hit another crease line. Come on, you. There, that's close enough. Boom. So now you can see over here that we have the pattern. We'll come to you, and we will pick a draw size, and you can see you can draw it on. Now, I'm obviously being super sloppy, but and you can see I didn't match it up perfectly, but so you can do it that way and match it up really well. Or you can take that alpha, go to standard brush, go to drag alpha, change your alpha to that pyramid pattern, and you can just, you gotta turn off symmetry, and you can drag it on, and then that gives you a place to start. So there are lots of ways to get in there. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's downloading one. So that's how I would go about doing the pyramids, is just get the thing on there, and then it gives you a good place to start as far as that goes. Oh, come on, download. Oh, it did download. Upgrade. Okay. The feathers get to be a little trickier. I tend to, like if you're trying to match it exactly, take this, you can bring it in. Let's go to alpha. Import. Was it this one? No. Import. Right, so you have it. You drag it out. Now, you can see how it's dissipating. That's because the focal shift is on. Take focal shift to 0, and then you're getting your pattern here. Now, this is not a good alpha, but what it does is it gives you your rhythm, right? And now from there, you can come in and hand lay in your feathers, right? Once again, I would do it from a higher res. And then I use smooth stronger, but I'm just going to take it down some. So it's not destroying the whole thing, but there. And now that gives you your stepping patterns, and sort of your scale patterns. And then once you take that down, you kind of replicate the brush or replicate the feathers. You'll start to get into the rhythm of the feathers, because honestly, I lay in feathers by hand for the most part. Like, I'm going to use clay tubes. I come in, I decide what my surface is. I'm like, okay, so this is the upper wing bend, and then this is the soft area, and these are the fluff feathers. And it's the second row of fluff feathers, and then this is my first row of flight feathers. It's my second row of flight feathers. I just lay them out like that. I take twist, I come in, and I literally do every one of them by hand. Right? You come in with clay tubes and go from this direction. And then you do the same thing. You know. Right? And then just go in and twist them. So I'm psycho about that, but it makes them look super good. But the brushes, you know, you can develop your brushes and it just becomes an easier way of dealing with stuff. Where are you? Have I lost everybody? No, there we go. Am I crashed? Am I still live? Someone say something. Because my videos are just spinning. Where's OBS? Okay. Now, for some reason, my video, looking at my video, it's just sitting there spinning. Okay. So does that answer that? Okay, cool. If you have any more questions about that, please tell me. Import. And this is going to be the last one only because I have to get up at 5 o'clock to go to work. Come on. You can do it. So Harsh, are you still there? Did that help at all? Okay. Nice, nice. So I would finish my scales out. I know you're gonna hate me. Clay fill, and don't let these be lines. Right, get rid of those. Make them layers. 1. Drawing on your scales. What are you doing, son? Getting lazy on me, aren't you? Right? Right, get rid of those peaks. Some of those peaks are higher than the damn scale they're under. Look at that whole row. Your peaks are higher than your scales, Juan. Bad Juan. Bad. What am I going to do with you? Whoa. We can turn that down a little. Holy Hannah. Right. And now let's pull back and look at that. Man, whoever's car alarm that is needs to be beat down. Right. See the difference? Yeah, you just need to make sure that those points get knocked down. Because, I mean, look at here at these scales, right? And then look at these. I mean, if we take a side view of this, the thing that... Ooh, what's going on? Uh-oh. No, don't do it. Uh-oh. Well, we might have just died. Everybody keep their fingers crossed. Gray screen of weight. Okay. Let's look at the side view of these, Juan. That's supposed to be going in between those things. Look, that's higher than the scales behind them. Bad Juan. Is this from the relief maker? Other than that, everything looks great, honestly. This is a slightly soft shape. I might clean up. Some of that and see how the bring the whole thing in front of that so you don't get that weird warp bump. And yeah, the scoop of this hair is behind that surface, so just make sure that it's above the surface. Same here. You're kind of cutting in. Right, make sure that's in front of those shapes. Don't dig into them. Either drop that back and make sure this stuff's in front, just so you don't lose what's going on there. Yeah, here you're forcing the point again. If you have crisscrossing surfaces, don't cut into the surface that's behind it. I think that's it, my friend. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, you become file blind. You know, it's very easy to get there. Okay, guys, if there are no other questions, I'm going to have to go to bed. Whoop, 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 whoop. I could be a real jerk and just say, "Oh yeah, I'm really tired, Juan. I'm sure I'm missing something." All right, kind and gentle folk, I need to go to bed because I have to get up at 5 and go to work. So have a beautiful evening. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Watch other streamers on ZBrush Live. Get ZBrush if you don't have ZBrush. ZBrush Story Workshops where we teach people how to do stuff. Do I still buy? Not tonight. I went a lot longer tonight than I thought I was going to. Maybe we can do it next week, or text me and we might be able to do a go-to-meeting or something later this week. Juan has my contact information if you don't. Yeah, because another half hour will take me into 10:30, and then, well, 5 o'clock alarms go off, and then, yeah, don't hesitate. You know, text me is the easiest way. All right, guys and gals and beautiful, wonderful people. I will see you next week. And for those of you in ZBrush Jewelry Workshop, I will see you Saturday. And yeah, everyone have a lovely week. All right.